We'll start sitting tall, and if you have that pillow, go ahead and put that behind your back, and then just make sure your feet are flat on the ground, and you feel like you're sitting up nice and tall. So shoulders should feel relaxed, and I can rest your hands like right on your thighs here. So in today's practice, we're going to be focusing a little bit more on our head and neck today, with a focus on just any kind of jaw pain, whether you have TMJ or whether you're grind your teeth or any sort of anything like that that's going to cause discomfort in the jaw and the ears and the neck. We'll be focusing on just some techniques to relieve some of that, in addition to just some regular breathing practices and yoga practices that kind of takes our mind out of that being in that pain mode. So we're going to start with eyes closed, shoulders relaxed, and we're going to breathe in and out of the nose. So if you can, just take your tongue and place it on the roof of your mouth, ideally just right behind those front teeth. And just by having that tongue placement there, it helps, number one, to relax the jaw, but it also helps with our posture of our neck and our head. So placing the tongue, and we'll start out with just some regular, just whatever breathing, try to get smooth as possible and relaxed as possible. And just start to begin to notice any pain or discomfort you might be having today, whether it's in the head or jaw, or maybe it's somewhere else in your body. And just by becoming aware of your breathing as it comes in and out of your nose, allow all the tension to just try to release from the body. Let go of any stress or worries. And just allow yourself to be anchored to ground through your bottoms of your feet and through the bones of your pelvis. Feel that sense of being supported. And then while anchoring through those points, allow the entire spine to feel that support all the way up through the top of your head. Finding length in the back of the neck, softness in the front of your neck. Okay, let's take about 3 more rounds of breath here. Then we're going to start with our intention. So we're going to join our palms together, thumb knuckles at the heart, and just set your intention around what you would like to receive from your practice today. It could be anything, but knowledge, information is always good to receive it. And as you take a deep breath in and your exhalation, we're gonna go ahead and let that intention go. So extend those arms out and then just let them fall all the way down. Just let them rest, like let them feel heavy down by your side. So you can keep your eyes open or closed with this one. We're actually just going to be using the tongue, and you're going to take your tongue where it starts at the back of your front teeth. And I want you to glide your tongue along the roof of your mouth and go back as far as you can. And do that probably about 5 times. So start at the, right at the front teeth and just push it all along the roof of your mouth. Just go back as far as you can. Find it from the hard palate to the soft palate. And this really helps to strengthen the root of the tongue, but it also helps you to create some more tension, especially in that soft palate. And this part of your throat here is what does that vibration when we sleep, when we have like that snoring sound. We're trying to create some tension there and make that a little more like, so it's not as soft. It's like a little bit more resilient there. And then we're just going to test our jaw. So just let your mouth open as wide as you can. So open it up and then you're going to slowly close it. So let's take about 1 count to open it and about 7 to 10 counts to close it. We'll do that 3 times. You're going to open as wide as you can and slowly close it. And you'll do it again. And I want you to notice, like, is there any discomfort, whether it's in the jaw or in the back of your head or any place else? And is there a restriction of movement? Okay, and then just close it and then just keep your mouth closed. And then we're going to use our fingers to do a little bit of massage. So we're going to start out with our peace fingers and right in front of your ear. And we're just going to push in slightly and draw your fingers up from the jawbone up to towards the temple in front of the ear. So you're going to go up and down. And then if you want to, you could open and close your mouth while you're doing that. Let's do 1 or 2 more. Notice there's any clicking sounds. If it feels uneven. All right, and now we're going to do from the jawbone on both sides. We're going to go right along the jawbone. We're going to be pushing in and going forward towards the chin. So you start back here, and we're just going to make this little movement like this. And you're just massaging right underneath of the jawbone. And there's a muscle under there, it's the digastrous muscle. So this helps us with our chewing and swallowing. And this is a really important muscle. We want to keep this nice and happy. So just trace along there a couple times. Notice if it feels tender or sore. And this is something you can do pretty regularly if it does get tender and sore. Just do 1 more. Okay, and then you'll stop that and then just relax for a second and just close your eyes and just if you want to open and close your jaw a few times, just see if it feels any different. Just from doing those 2 little massages. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our peace fingers, we're going to go behind the ear. So we have a big muscle that goes from behind our ear along the sides of our neck and all the way down to your clavicle on both sides. And it's the SCM muscle here. It's a pretty big one and allows us to be able to turn our head to the right or to the left. So this one can have trigger points in it. So if you're just going to take your fingers, we're going to go slowly, starting behind the ear. And you're just going to make circular motions. We're going to go real slow down both sides. And you could find like a spot there that might feel tender, sore, painful. And you're welcome to stay there if you want and massage it a little bit more. But just work your way down nice and slow towards the clavicle, which would be that collarbone there. And that's where it attaches there. And then the other end is at the back of the ear. So anywhere along there, you could have some discomfort, pain, or tightness. And we'll do that one more time, starting at behind the ear, gently circling as you work your way down. One side might feel tighter than the other, or more tender. And then go ahead and relax. And then just if you want to test it out, you can do some head turns right to left. You can do some shoulder shrugs up and down. You can do some shoulder circles. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our hands, we're going to interlace them, we're going to place them behind your head. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw your head back and press them into the hands. So basically you want to try to draw your chin back, almost like make this double chin and hold that. So you're, with your hands, I want you to just gently pull slightly upwards, right? So we're stretching out the back of the neck here. So we're trying to lengthen it and we're drawing the chin back, right? And then drawing the hands up will get you into that stretch, more like a little traction for the neck. I'm just gonna hold this and breathe. You can close your eyes if you like. And just relaxing into this stretch. If you want to use your thumbs, you can also massage right along that occipital ridge back there. Sometimes it could be some tender spots right along the bottom of the skull where it sits on top of your spine. And last breath. And then go ahead and let those arms come down. So we're gonna just do a little bit of movement. It's gonna get the whole spine moving. So from basically the head and neck all the way down to the lower back and sacrum. So we'll start out arms down by your side. And all we're gonna do is you have the pillow back there. I just want you to just round your spine. So it gives you a little bit of feedback because you're gonna be pushing your lower back into it. And as you're doing that, you should notice that your head is going to come forward a little bit. Don't over exaggerate, just allow that to happen. And then we're gonna think about pulling the lower back away from the pillow, and then you'll notice that your upper spine is gonna start to go into extension. Okay, so again, don't over exaggerate it, just let that happen. And we'll do it again. So you're gonna exhale, push that low back into the pillow, just allow upper body to go where it goes without trying to control it. And then going into that little bit of an arching of the low back, so you're pulling that away from the pillow, and again, just let that upper body do what it does. And we'll do one more. So you see that like everything is connected, right? So whatever the lower spine is doing, the upper spine is going to respond to it. And then we're gonna come back to that neutral position. The next thing we're going to play around with is our shoulders and our shoulder blades. So we're going to start to move the shoulders around a little bit. So we'll start with elevation. So we're going to draw the shoulders up by your ears, noticing what that feels like. Now we're going to exhale, and I want you to take about 8 to 10 counts to lower them back where they started. So go slow on purpose. And then let them relax, take a breath. And then we'll do it again one more time, up. Really squeeze them up by your ears, and then slowly let them come back down. Don't rush this one. We're just teaching our shoulders where they belong. And then once they're back in their place, just go ahead and notice if it feels any different. Now we're going to move the arms. So we're going to do some rotation of the arm bones. So you're going to rotate them forward. You're going to feel like upper back is rounding a little bit, and you're feeling like this shoulders moving in towards the chest. And then we're going to rotate them all the way back, and you're going to feel like you're getting more space here and a little bit more tightness in the upper back. So we're going to do that again. Rotation forward. Let's do that as you exhale, and then we'll inhale, rotate them open. And we're going to invite the legs to come along. So if you bring your feet together, we're going to scoot forward just a little bit further in your chair so you have the ability to have those legs to open. So as we take the arms apart and we breathe in, we're going to move the legs apart. And then as you rotate your arm bones forward, we're gonna let the knees touch. Okay, we're gonna now invite the head to move. So you're gonna take your head back slightly as you rotate those arms open, legs apart. And then chin comes to chest as you bring the arms in and legs together. And let's keep going with this nice and slow, no rushing through it. So again, this is like this whole flexion, extension of the body that we did before, where we're just focusing really on the spine. Now we're getting the arms and legs to come along. Let's do one more. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we'll come back to neutral, separate the feet, and then just close your eyes and just take a moment to notice. Notice your breathing, notice your level of tension. Okay, so now we're gonna play around with movement from side to side. So it'll be like side flexion. And we're again gonna let those arms hang loose. You can also take your feet a little wider if you like. And at this point, we're gonna remove the pillow and put it behind us. So what we'll do is you're gonna let your head go first and then your body start to drape over. Arms are just kind of hanging loose. We're not trying to control anything. Go down as far as you can. And then we're going to straighten up the spine. We'll take a breath at the top, and then you're going to go down the other side. And this one's also really nice if you can close your eyes and just feel and notice. Because you might notice like the subtleties, like, does it feel different on one side? Am I able to get further down on one side as compared to the other? Again, we're thinking about the jaw too, so can you keep it relaxed? Perhaps playing with the tongue position. And we'll do one more each way. And then be curious too if you're able to get deeper than when you started. So your last one. And then fully straighten up. And again, just take a moment to check in. Notice your posture. Notice your breathing. Okay, so we're gonna come up to stand for just a little bit. So let's go ahead and shift forward. We're gonna come really close to the front edge. And we'll hinge forward. We're gonna press down through the feet and slowly coming up to stand. So grounding through the feet. And then we're gonna walk around. And we're gonna just move your chair off to the side just a little bit so that you can stand next to it. And we'll stand in mountain pose. So while we're here, just take a moment to rock a little bit. So eyes can be open. You can also just look down at the floor. And I just want you to shift your weight a little bit forward and a little bit back. So we're gonna imagine if you were like a puppet and we were tied to puppet strings, and the puppet strings are like top of your head, right? And I want you to feel the sensation of being lifted, right? So we're gonna play with this. So if you take your weight and just put a little bit more weight into the forefoot and just get this sense that we're being anchored down, but also being pulled up with those strings. So let your arms hang loose. We're being kind of pulled up at a little bit of an angle, right? So maybe like forward and up, just a little. You can close your eyes and just be imagining like you're being lifted upwards. And I want you to create this space like in your spine from the bottom of your spine all the way up through the neck and the top of your head. Get a sense of lightness, finding the space, just keep breathing. So we're still being like anchored to ground, but we're being pulled upwards. And allow your tongue to be placed at the roof of your mouth, right? So you can still feel that energy going up through the top of your head. Okay, last breath here. And then just relax. Notice if you feel a little taller. And then we're going to separate our feet just a little bit, not too wide. And I want you to go heavy, heavy, heavy on the side that's furthest from the chair. So this will be your anchor side. And this side is just going to be a little bit lighter. And we're going to let our body melt down towards that lighter side. So like we did in the chair, and then stay anchored on the side that's away from the chair and just let your body drape down, down, down. And then we're going to push down into the standing legs. That's going to be this outer leg to return. And then when you get to the top, we're going to shift. So now your standing heavy leg is going to be the one closest to the chair. And we're going to drape down the other side. And then come up, and then we'll shift again. So you want to get this little momentum going, not too fast, but just kind of feeling your body starting to like this movement from the head and neck all the way down the spine. And my hands are just tracing, they're just barely touching the legs. I'll do one more. And then coming all the way back up. And then stand tall. Relax the shoulders. Just get a sense of the weight in your legs and feet, the position of your shoulders, neck, and head. And notice your breathing. Does it feel more easeful? Because if you were like more stuck up in here, maybe you should feel the breath down lower into the belly. Right, we'll step your feet back to mountain pose. Back in standing mountain pose. Rotate those palms slightly forward. Feel the tongue, roof of your mouth. Take a full breath in through your nose and then exhale, sigh it out. Okay. Now we're going to turn to face toward your chair, and you can use your chair for support. We're going to stagger stance our feet. So if you just want to put your right foot up and then step back with the left. And we're just going to have a staggered stance. There's nothing specific that you need to worry about with whether the legs are bent or straight. You might find that when you're moving, they're going to do what they're going to do, okay? So we're going to do this like pushing and pulling. So you're going to take your hands and we're just going to push. And then we're going to pull in. So you can see like I'm already starting, my front knee is bending as I'm pushing, and my back knee is bending as I'm pulling in. So we're feeling the sense of like weight shifting forward and weight shifting back. Pushing and we're pulling. And then we're going to start to shift the weight forward, and then we're going to bring our arms behind us. And we're going to keep weight in that front foot, a little bit more in the back foot. And then we're going to lift the heel off. And so that when you're lifting your heel off, the front leg will straighten. And then as the heel comes down, the knee will bend. So now our arms are going to go up and push down. So we're gathering up and pulling the weight up and pushing it back down. Let's do 3 more. Breathing in, breathing out. Get a lightness in the arms and shoulders. And then drop the heels, stay there. Feel equal weight between your feet. And then we're going to switch feet. Left foot steps forward, right foot steps back. And again, we're going to do that pushing, pulling again. So we're pushing and pulling. Front knee will bend, and then back knee will bend. Good, one more. And then we'll do the heel up, arms up, heel down, arms down. So you're lifting and pushing down, lifting up and pushing down. Breathing in, breathing out. So just coordinating that movement with your breathing, letting the arms feel light. And I want you to focus on keeping that tongue, if you can, at the roof of your mouth the whole time. Creating lightness all the way up through the crown of your head. Last one. And then pausing here for a moment. Feeling that equal weight between the feet. And then we'll step the feet together. And then let's go ahead and stand behind your chair. I'm just going to turn mine a little bit. And we're going to put our fingers on the back of the chair. And now we're going to go shifting the weight forward. Heels will come up. And then let the heels come down. Shift your weight back just slightly. You don't want to feel like you're going to fall backwards. But we're going to go up and down and up and down. A couple more. Breathing in, breathing out. Jaws relaxed, face is soft. So we're trying to find just the effort where we need to find the effort, and then we let go of the effort where we don't need the effort. So the arms and shoulders relaxed, neck is relaxed, face is relaxed. Last one. And then we're just going to keep our hands down the chair. We're going to take a walk back and just find a stretch here. So arms are looking forward, knees are soft, and there's still this length down your spine from the tailbone to the crown of your head. Then full breath in and full breath out. One more. And as you exhale, slowly walk yourself in. Stand in mountain pose. Again, just feel connected to ground, but there's this lift all the way up through the top of your head. And then we're going to take our time so you can center your chair again. And you'll walk in front of it. And we're just going to have a seat. So you can come down slowly and sit down into your chair. So we're going to take our legs apart. And then we're going to move the arms. So we're going to keep anchored into the legs and the feet. And we're going to take a big circle with the arms. We're going to sweep them up. We're going to cross them. And we're going to bring them down. So you're going to be holding on to somewhere on your legs. You can even hold into your waist. So we're just going to be a little bit crossed. And then we're going to rock here from right to left. Just gently rocking, relaxing shoulders. And then pausing in the middle, and then we're going to circle those arms up. And I want you to recross the other way. So opposite arm is in front. Relaxing shoulders. And again, we're just going to gently rock here. Feel the weight on the one foot and one sit bone, and then the other. Keeping shoulders relaxed. Last one. And come back to center, and then inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale, bring them down to your legs. And then we're going to do our body waves. So we're going to lead with the heart. Then you're going to bring your chin to your chest. We're going to roll back up again. So we'll inhale. And exhale. Keep pressing down into the earth with those feet. And let the upper body feel really fluid and relaxed. Let the neck and the head just be really floating on top. Just following the movement of your spine. Good, one more. And as we come back up to sitting, just walk your feet together. And we'll sit up nice and tall, arms down by your side. Close your eyes, deep breath in and out of your nose. So we haven't played around with rotation yet, so we are gonna do that now. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna have you take your right arm and I want you to hold onto your shoulder here. And we're just gonna be guiding ourselves around. We're gonna use our eyes to go. So before you do, you can hold onto the chair or just put your hand on your thigh. I want you to take your eyes as far as you can and just let your shoulder, neck, and head turn. And then to come back, start with your eyes first, let the eyes go back and let your body follow. We're gonna do that 3 more times to this side. So we're turning, let the eyes go first, body follows, and then bring those eyes back to center and let the body follow. So this is important because this is our brain just getting us into our range of motion. Sometimes we get really tight, locked in, and when we use our eye gaze, it really helps to find a new range of motion. Okay, so next time, take your eyes back and see if you can go further. So mark a spot, look behind you, and then come back out of it. And then I want you to go back to that same spot again. And then return. Okay, now relax, roll your shoulders out, shake out the arms. Let's try it the other way. Cross your arm over. And then go ahead with the eyes back first, and then let your body follow. So see where you go first. And then the more you do it, just be curious if you can go a little bit further. So it's important the eyes go because the body's always going to follow where the eyes go. So keep taking the eyes, see if you go a little bit further. And let's go 2 more. And last one. So this should be your furthest one, hopefully. And then come back to center. So just be curious too, like if you had one side that was easier than the other, right? So maybe one side was like, oh, I can hardly go. And then the other one's like, you're flying around there and you can see much further behind you, because that just generally means that we're just in balance and nobody's perfectly balanced. So you might just have a tight side that you might need to work on a little bit more. So that's it. So let's go ahead and stretch out the legs a little bit. So we're taking one leg out at a time. We're just gonna move the ankles around, circling them, wiggling the toes. And then we'll set the foot down on the floor. You can scoot forward just a little bit more to stretch out the hamstrings, and then you can hinge. So again, we're gonna use this eye gaze. So once you look like out beyond your toes, keep your gaze point there. And then just come in and out of your stretch here. And you can move the toes forward. And as you come up, you can also draw the toes back. So push the toes forward and draw the toes back. Now this one we're gonna stay, so you're gonna hold it and maintain that eye gaze looking out beyond your toes. And then think about your spine as lengthening towards that point. And see if that helps you get a deeper stretch into the back of your leg. We're keeping our spine straight. We're not rounding forward at all. And then come on up slowly, bend the knee. And then we're going to extend the other leg. We're just going to move the ankle a little bit by circling it. You can wiggle your toes. And then gently set the heel down. Let the toes just be relaxed. And then we sit tall and you're picking a gaze point. We're just going to think about lengthening towards that spot. And then as you come up, we're going to flex. And then you're going to lengthen your toes out as we come forward. And just do that like 3 to 4 more times. And then once you find a spot you want to stay in, then you're going to hold the stretch. But I want you to look beyond your toes. Don't look down, look out. And that way it keeps your spine straight. Again, the tongue is aligned to the roof of your mouth and your neck is long. And we're just breathing into the stretch. Okay, last breath here. And then take your time sitting tall. Bring your feet in, hands on your thighs. And let's just do that stretch that we did at the beginning with the spine without the pillow this time. So again, we're gonna round that low back and just let your upper spine follow. And then we're gonna extend by arching the low back and just let your upper body follow along. So we're not trying to over exaggerate it. Or just noticing what happens when we move from the tailbone. What happens to the rest of our spine? All right, last breath here. And then sitting tall. Then slide back. If you want to grab your pillow, you can also put that behind your upper back if you like, or your lower back, or not at all. You can also prop it underneath your feet. So we're gonna lift both legs up and we're gonna circle both ankles both ways. Wiggle your toes, give your legs a little shake out. And then just rest your feet on the ground. And then we'll take the arms out. We're gonna circle the wrists both ways. We're gonna shake out the wrists, arms, all the way down. And then you're gonna rest your hands on your lower belly. And as you close your eyes again, we're gonna set that tongue at the roof of your mouth. And just think about that elongation all the way up through the neck and the head. So your jaw is like clenched, neck is long, breath is smooth. And just enjoy whatever you're feeling that feels good. Focus on that. And just allow your breath to be calm and relaxed, steady and smooth. Notice if your breath is calm like that, your mind is also calm and relaxed. And we're just softening any of the harsh edges. Just take one more breath in. You can deepen it if you want. And then we'll start to invite some movement into the body. So you can move a little your fingers, your toes, and you can certainly add a stretch in if that feels good. Stretch it up. And then go ahead and make your way back to your seated mountain pose, sitting up nice and tall. And again, see if you can find that space that we created today. See if you feel like you're sitting a little taller, a little bit more relaxed in the shoulders, neck, and head. And then we're gonna gather up that intention that you set, so bring your thumb knuckles into the heart space, take a moment to acknowledge. And then, of course, always thanking yourself for showing up today for your practice. And then on your next in-breath, we're going to move the thumb knuckles up to your third eye point. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. And thank you guys so much for being here today. Have a great day.